We are back with you live with yet another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Want to apologize for not doing one this past Saturday. It's typically airing on Saturday, these live broadcasts. The only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch live show. But unfortunately, I was struck down in my prime with a dreaded flu. And so, yeah, I spent most of St. Patty's Day with a terrible cold, and I'm still feeling the effects of it. So again, if I have to if I have to mute the microphone for a sneeze or a cough, apologies in advance. But I am determined here to keep the ball rolling, if ever possible, a little bit later than usual, but we will still tackle all the news that came out in the past week and a half. And we have some interesting things to talk about. Not the least of which came out today as a late addition here. We've got a leaked Star Wars poster that we're going to talk about in a little while. First, let's take a look at some of the business at hand. Check the link in the description below, and you can check out my website, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Comics. Still working diligently on the 6th issue, and we're hoping to get that one out by May. Of course, I lost a couple of days of work there as well, but I feel pretty confident it's going to be out by convention season. And again, I hope to have some information about that pretty soon. And also check out the link in the description below, and you will find our link to my Twitter page. We have a poll of the week question that wrapped up last week. There's not a new one up yet, but this is the way it worked out last week. We asked the question: after the Avengers dispatched Thanos in Avengers Endgame, who do you want to become the next big overarching villain for the next phase of the MCU? The choices were Galactus, Doctor Doom, Kang, or Magneto. In fourth place with 8% of the vote, Kang. Kang not getting a whole lot of love. He's sort of like the last big Avengers villain, isn't he? The others belong to like Fantastic Four or X-Men, but Kang is sort of an Avengers villain, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if they go with him. He's sort of a time travel villain, if I remember correctly, which is confusing because they're apparently going to do something like that with Thanos. Well, that's not a spoiler. That's just completely speculative. With 13% of the vote in third place, Magneto. I think a lot of people are sort of Magnetoed out after the X-Men, but he would be a pretty big overarching villain if they chose him. My choice would be what came in number 2, Doctor Doom, with 32% of the vote. Say what you will, but they've never really given a definitive version of Doctor Doom in live action. That's not really to take anything away from what they have done with the character, but they haven't given him really the prominence that he deserves. But the number one choice of you all out there, you picked Galactus, and he hasn't gotten his due either, really, because, the Rise of the Silver Surfer was not really a good look for him. With 47% of the vote, Galactus takes top honors, and that was with 75 votes, so that was a pretty decent turnout. So I want to thank you all, once again, for for voting in our poll of the week question. And maybe next time we do a broadcast, I'll have another poll of the week question ready to go for you. But as of now, nothing. Okay, so before we go any further, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. I want to thank so many people that have subscribed lately. I've got a couple of new subscribers as well. That's very welcoming. I'm so happy whenever I see a new subscriber. And as always, leave me your comments down below, and if you have any questions, I'll be really happy to get to them in a mailbag segment. Whenever I can get a couple of questions or comments together, I always read a mailbag segment on the show. So thank you once again for those of you who have subscribed, and make sure you share, get the word around, let everyone know that you're interested in the Johnny Torch Live broadcast. And so here we go. We'll start off with, this is, I think, the oldest news we have. I think this broke just after I got through talking about it. Talking about that there was going to be a date set for The Flash to begin filming. Pretty much immediately after that news broke, we heard that Ezra Miller was going to team up with none other than Grant Morrison to write the script for the perpetually developmental hell place that this film resides. We did, as I've said before, so many episodes going back probably 3 years on how the Flash solo movie was to be taken care of, and it unfortunately never got off the ground. Well, now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Ezra Miller has partnered with acclaimed comics author Grant Morrison to pen a new draft for the standalone Flash movie based on the new script. Based on how the new script is received by Warner Brothers, it could very well determine whether or not Ezra Miller remains on board for the Flash solo project. The latest development stems from a clash of creative visions between directors John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein and the film star Ezra Miller. So apparently, he's not a big fan of what they're doing to it. The game night directors are pushing for a lighter approach to the source material, similar to their work on Spider-Man Homecoming, while Miller prefers a darker take on the Scarlet Speedster in the same vein as his appearances in Batman v Superman and Justice League. I don't know about that. I wouldn't say Justice League was a dark take on the Flash, and he basically had a cameo in Batman v Superman. I I don't know. I don't know if Ezra Miller is really thinking this through. It seems to me that the Flash is not the kind of character you need a dark take with. If anything, he is probably the lightest of the heroes in the Justice League, barring maybe Superman. But this is kind of strange. I don't know. Warner Brothers is reportedly strongly in favor of the director version, and it's hard not to see why. After the billion-dollar success of James Wan's Aquaman, which fully embraced the comic book spectacle, and the early strong reception of Sandberg's Shazam, which fully embraces the fun factor. After months of trying to find a compromise, Miller decided to take it upon himself to take a crack at the story and reached out to Grant Morrison to help him write a new screenplay. Both were then formally hired by Warner Brothers, and it's believed they could actually submit their version of the script to the studio as early as next week. This was last week, so it would probably mean they already submitted it. However, there's going to be a lot riding on that meeting, because if Warner Brothers decides not to move forward with Miller and Morrison's take, then Miller is likely to exit the project entirely. His holding deal also expires in May, so the next few weeks are, in typical Flash fashion, going to be a literal race against the clock as the studio determines which script is best and whether Miller will be their Barry Allen, or if it's time to find a new Scarlet Speedster. So yeah, a lot of difficulty going on with getting the Flash movie off the ground. They had tried to do this back prior to Justice League, I think. I think there were plans for a solo Flash film that went back even that far. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Warner Brothers is married to Ezra Miller. They don't really see him as essential. So if this doesn't work out, and I believe they're going to give him every opportunity, if they went so far as to okay Grant Morrison, which is an unusual thing, because usually the filmmakers, the studios, they don't want comic book writers to write their scripts, which I never understood really. You think you would have someone with a working knowledge of the source material as your primary writer. Unfortunately, that's not the way they seem to look at it. So they seem pretty desperate. I think they seem pretty desperate if they want to get Grant Morrison involved. And I don't know. I really don't know what Ezra Miller's take on this is. Maybe he wants to focus more on the what's his name? His father. His father in prison. That's something also that was done to death in the television series. I think that probably is another reason why the film division doesn't want to necessarily spend 2 hours doing something that we spent probably 3 seasons of with what's his name? George Allen? Was that what his name was, his father? I forget. But anyway, you know, that seems to me, I think that's what Ezra's probably going to. And they probably want to kind of just bypass that and do some goofy stuff like Gorilla Grodd and Captain Cold. That's basically what I would like to see anyway, because I don't think the Flash TV show really did a great job getting all the rogues together. They did pretty good at the beginning of the show with Captain Cold. Of course, Wentworth Miller was really good. That character kind of spiraled out of control as a sort of frenemy and this and that, and they really didn't get the rogues together the way they really could. So that's kind of the place where they could do it in a movie. So I would imagine if that's what they're planning, that's what they should stick with. It would be unique and give us something we really haven't seen in the Flash. Again, as far as I'm concerned, I don't dislike Ezra Miller as the Flash. I thought he was pretty good. I think they kind of pushed him as comedic relief a little too much. Of course, that's in a team setting. He's going to kind of take on those characteristics, sort of what they did with the Flash in Justice League Unlimited. And I thought they made him a little too funny in Justice League Unlimited too, to be totally honest with you. That was the Wally West version, though, so they kind of had an excuse. But so I don't know. I think if he was in a solo movie, it would be by necessity a little bit more of a serious Flash. So I wouldn't be too concerned. But if they do go another way, who would you like to see carry on the role of Barry Allen as the Flash? I don't know. I mean, Grant Gustin is great. They're not going to get him. Uh, Again, I don't know. I don't have anything against Ezra Miller, but I don't really know who would be your Barry Allen if they do choose to part ways. All right, let's move on now. Sticking with the DCEU, this is kind of a bit of a disappointing bit of news, but apparently, let's see. A source has told We Got This Covered that the Cyborg film is never going to happen at this point. The studio has zero interest right now in continuing Victor Stone's story on the big screen. That includes featuring him in a supporting or a cameo capacity in another hero's movie. To put it frankly, we've been told that the studio just doesn't care about making any more projects with Ray Fisher as Cyborg. Now, this again, it looks very much like now the DCEU and, well, Warner Brothers is looking to part ways with a lot of the first generation characters or actors, I guess, possibly the characters too. They're holding on, obviously, to Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, but there doesn't seem to be this great attempt at holding on to Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller, possibly Henry Cavill. We know, of course, Ben Affleck has stepped aside. That was no surprise, really, though. Um, let's see. Though you have to feel for the actor, this does fit with the wider scope of the DC franchise. Fisher was cast by director Zack Snyder for his unfolding master plan of the shared universe, but now that he's no longer the architect of the DCEU, it stands to reason there's no place for Cyborg on the upcoming slate. The hero's never had much of a standalone history in the comics anyway, and as WB is pursuing solo films with little to no crossovers, there's simply no role for Victor to fill in the franchise. Yeah, I can pretty much buy this. I think that's probably going to be the way it goes, which is disappointing to me because I thought that Ray Fisher was pretty much the heart and soul of the Justice League film. I don't think. See, they announced very early on they were going to give Cyborg a standalone movie. I didn't really think that Cyborg was a strong enough character to carry a standalone movie. That's not to say they couldn't have done it, but as the article even says here, he's mostly known for being a member of Teen Titans. Maybe you could do something with him as they were initially planning to sort of have a Flash Cyborg team up at some point somehow in one of those movies, possibly the Flash movie. But again, I don't really know exactly how they were going to carry on with Cyborg in a solo movie. I don't really know how that was going to work, but apparently it seems like this is it for Ray Fisher. I think he deserved better because I think he did a great job in Justice League. What they could have done with him beyond a Justice League 2, I don't know. I don't really know that. I don't really know that Cyborg has a great rogues gallery on his own. I mean, I don't think he was ever a solo character in the comics. I mean, I don't believe he ever had his own standalone uh, comic series, did he? He had like a mini series or something, I think, at one point, but that was about it. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you disappointed in this turn of events? Is this kind of what you expected to happen, seeing as how the DCEU is sort of revamping their entire plan going forward now, and there really wasn't any place for Cyborg in those plans? Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, here's some pretty interesting news. Kind of strange. Let's see. We have Masters of the Universe news. Apparently, some casting is in talks here for He-Man. According to the Wrap, Noah Centineo, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Sarah Burgess is a Loser, is in talks to play He-Man in Sony's upcoming Masters of the Universe reboot. We recently found out that David S. Goyer has stepped down as director, though he'll remain as an executive producer and screenwriter. But it was then announced that the project had found a pair of replacements in the Nee brothers, Aaron and Adam. Goyer worked on the latest draft of the script with Iron Man writers Art Markham and Matt Holloway. I don't know this actor from Adam, to be totally honest with you. That's a pun, unintended. But maybe he would play Prince Adam is the only thing I'm thinking. He doesn't seem to have the sort of physical presence of a He-Man. Uh, just going by the traditional depiction of He-Man, who is a very muscular character, this kid doesn't particularly look muscular. Also, he's not blonde, which you would think would be something that they would attempt to get right. I don't know. This, of course, is only a rumor, so to speak. They're in talks, so this could be just something to keep the He-Man movie out there in the public eye. Supposedly, it's going to be made. I still am not even sure that this is not going to languish in developmental hell a little longer. Of course, with the success of Aquaman, there is a good possibility, I think, that the He-Man movie could be made, you know, sometime in the reasonably near future. But I don't know. This doesn't really exude confidence in the character or the film being made. So let me know what you think. What do you think about this kid playing He-Man? Maybe he'll just play Adam, or is this just yet another, long list of rumors that is going to be unsubstantiated, and someday we'll someday we'll say, "Yep, we remember that." That's when they were suggesting it was going to be this Noah kid. Okay. Next up, we have some casting news on the Pennyworth. Pennyworth. I spelled it wrong. I spelled it Peony. Pennyworth television show. This is from the Epics series. I don't know, what is that? Is that like Stars or something? That's some premium network or something. Pennyworth has, let's see, added 2 new key players, as reported by Deadline. Emma Pates. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Emma Pates from Gentleman Jack will take on the series' regular role of Martha Kane, the eventual wife of Thomas and mother of Bruce. Martha Wayne. So yeah, I imagine, is that her on the right? I don't know. This is kind of interesting. Jessica Ellerby from Lovesick will recur as the Queen. No details on this character are provided, but there's a chance she'll be a take on Green Arrow villain Isabel Rochev. Yeah, I think that was in the 2nd season of Arrow, right? They already used her. But I don't know. I don't really know anything about how that's going to work out. Yeah, you would imagine they're going to have a Martha Kane slash Martha Wayne in this show about young Alfred Pennyworth and young Thomas Wayne. We still don't know a whole lot about this R-rated origin story, but it has been confirmed that Alfred will team up with Thomas Wayne to form a security company in 1960s London. No established Batman baddies will appear, but the show is expected to feature our typical villains and classic villains of British literature. British literature. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Because they're suggesting something like maybe Jack the Ripper and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't go for prequels. I don't really like doing that in the superhero genre. It's like, we've gone through it so many times, and they're going further and further back. I mean, first it was Smallville, then it was Gotham, then we got Krypton, and which is like 2 generations removed from Kal-El, and now we're gonna get the Pennyworth series. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think I'm not that interested in this one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited for Pennyworth? Are you hoping to see something from this show that has yet been untold in the Batman universe, or is this just sort of another pot boiler? Especially now that, Gotham had the benefit of a young Bruce Wayne, young Commissioner Gordon, and young-ish villains of Batman's legacy. I don't really know what you can do to keep fans interested in I don't know, in a Alfred prequel. All right. Next up, this is something that's been pretty exciting to hear. It is finally official that Bill and Ted 3 has been given a release date. Yes, plans for the third Bill and Ted movie were made public almost a year ago. Since then, there have been conflicting reports on whether the project will actually get off the ground. Well, it's now been officially announced that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter will reunite for another adventure almost 30 years after the first film was released. Bill and Ted Face the Music will hit theaters on August 21st, 2020. So, yeah, that's not too long from now. They're actually getting the band back together, and Face the Music they shall. I wonder if Keanu Reeves is going to keep that beard and maybe that's for John Wick 3 or something at the time he was doing, but let's see. A tweet said, "The world is about to get a lot more excellent. Watch the special announcement from your 2 favorite dudes." Original creators Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon have written the script, while Dean Parsot has been confirmed to direct. Scott Krupp will produce together with Alex Libovitzy and Steve Ponce of Hammerstone Studios, with Steven Soderbergh serving as an EP alongside Scott Fisher, John Ryan Jr., and John Santinelli. We also have a synopsis which provides us with a pretty detailed outline of the plot. This sounds interesting. Bill and Ted Face the Music will see the duo long past their days as time-traveling teenagers and now weighed down by middle age and the responsibilities of family. They've written thousands of tunes, but they have yet to write a good one, much less the greatest song ever written. With the fabric of time and space tearing around them, a visitor from the future warns our heroes that only their song can save life as we know it. Out of luck and fresh out of inspiration, Bill and Ted set out on a time travel adventure to seek the song that will set their world right and bring harmony in the universe as we know it. Together with the aid of their daughters, a new crop of historical figures, and some sympathetic music legends, they will find much, much more than just a song. So this is interesting. That is a pretty detailed synopsis. I love the first movie. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's one of my favorite comedies. Um, I wasn't a big fan of Bogus Journey, I'll be totally honest with you. It got weird. It got really out there. I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. It had its moments. It wasn't a complete disaster, but I mean, because the playing games with death and this and that was pretty humorous. But the story by and large, I couldn't get behind. So it's a track record of 50-50, really. I mean, they did one really good movie, they did one really bad movie. Well, I don't know, we want to say really bad movie, but I mean, it's a 50-50 prospect whether this is really going to recapture the feeling of that first Bill and Ted. Uh, it's interesting they say they're going to bring their daughters with them. This seems to be sort of the go-to idea, which is always that the protagonists always have daughters. I don't know what to think about that yet. But yeah, obviously they're going to try to appeal to the younger generation with that. It should be interesting. Excuse me. All right, also, a visitor from the future warns our hero. So again, this is kind of sad because George Carlin is long passed on at this point. He's been gone about 10 years now, I think. So it can't be Rufus. Although no, it could be Rufus, right? Because in Bogus Journey, I don't know if this is a spoiler or whatever, but Rufus was in disguise. So if they want to do some kind of CGI where, like, again, maybe he's disguised and at the very end he's revealed to be George Carlin and they can sign off on his likeness or something, that would probably be pretty cool to keep Carlin in it. But I don't know. They might just move on and kind of, just let it be a descendant of Rufus or something. That might be cool too. Um, Also the new crop of historical figures. That's kind of the linchpin, I think, so to speak. You kind of need that. That's part and parcel of the excellent adventure, which was them getting together with Beethoven and Joan of Arc and Socrates. So that's going to be cool. Be interesting to see who they can bring along this time. Genghis Khan and some sympathetic music legends. Now, I guess that means they're probably going to try to recruit. I don't know who they'd recruit. I mean, you could, if we're talking about rock legends, you would say, I don't know, Jimmy Page. I don't know if they're going to be able to get Jimmy Page, Roger Daltrey, Mick Jagger. Would they be able to get them? Maybe not. I don't know. Possibly, maybe something like Eddie Van Halen. Um, I don't know. Maybe Slash. Something like that. That could be interesting. That'd be interesting too. All right, so yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you have? Do you have any hopes for Bill and Ted 3 after all this time? Are you really excited about the prospect like I am, or do you think this is kind of like, a product of its time? Very much a product of late '80s, early '90s. And who did you prefer at the time? Because Bill and Ted was the original, and then shortly after we had Wayne's World, which was sort of I don't know, more edgier take, I guess, maybe on the concept. But to me, it was always Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted was the sort of the Valley Boys of rock and roll. And let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, let's move on here now before I totally lose my voice. We're almost. Let's see. We're almost done. I think we'll be able to manage. All right, we get some casting news for the Black Widow movie. The Black Widow, yes. Hollywood Reporter and Variety are reporting that Florence Pugh, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Pugh. I'm not sure. It could be Pug. I don't know. Yeah, Florence Pugh, we'll say, from Fighting with My Family, the Page story, the Page auto bio that just came out recently. Apparently, Florence has landed the highly coveted second lead role opposite Scarlett Johansson in the Black Widow solo movie. Details on her exact part are being kept under wraps. She'll be playing a spy on the same skill level as Natasha Romanoff, but won't share her moral compass. That sounds interesting. Does that mean that she's going to be more ruthless? than the Black Widow? I thought the Black Widow was the most ruthless of all the Avengers. I don't know. I mean, I would take this in the opposite direction. I would take this that this character that Florence is playing is going to be the one that's going to be the altruistic one. But that's if this is in fact a prequel, like we've been told that this is going to be sort of the early days of Scarlet, Black Widow and the Shield. I'm not sure. Let's see what it says. The long-awaited standalone is said to be an international espionage story following Natasha as she works in her role as a top-level spy and assassin for the KGB, although it should be noted that it remains unclear whether the film will be a prequel flashing back to Natalie's pre-Avenger days or a film following the events of next month's highly anticipated Avengers Endgame. All right, so now if she's working for the KGB, obviously it's a prequel, right? I don't think she's going to go back to the KGB after Endgame. That's what we're led to believe. This is going to be sort of a prequel, so that's what I'm going to guess. I don't know. There's been rumors that Taskmaster is going to be the villain in the film, although that's not been confirmed yet. Let's see. Production is slated to begin June in London with Kate Shortland in the director's chair, with a screenplay from Jack Schaefer, who turned in the first draft, Ned Benson, who is recently believed to have completed the rewrites. According to Variety's Justin Kroll, Pugh has been at the top of Marvel's list since her audition in December, but they still decided to open up the casting search and met with several actresses over the past several weeks, including Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, and however it appears Pugh beat out both for the part. Let's see. Florence Pugh is best known for her breakout role in Fighting with My Family earlier this year. Her past credits include Little Drummer Girl, Outlaw King, Lady Macbeth, The Commuter, and The Falling. Let's see. No release date has been set, but with casting fully underway, either May 1st, 2020 or November 6th, 2020 would seem like a fairly safe bet. All right, so is this going to be... This is a good chance for, with the spy and the intrigue stuff, all that stuff going on. This is a pretty cool chance for... This could be like someone that Natasha's trying to bring under her wing that turns on her. I imagine that's what's going to be. Um, I don't know. She's kind of young, isn't she, to be playing a spy? But that's the thing. See, the Red Room gets them young. They train them from a very early age, and I can see that's probably the in for Natasha maybe to start changing her ways. I don't know. It sounds interesting to me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about the Black Widow movie? What is the character? Do you think it's an established character from the comics that Florence Pugh is playing? If I'm saying her name right at all. All right, let's get to our final story here. Final story of the day. We have this leaked poster of episode 9. This probably isn't the real deal, although a lot of these characters are apparently going to be in the movie. Let's see. Just giving it a quick from top to bottom. Let's see. There's some ships in the background. Looks like a Y-wing, A-wing, some X-wings, I think. There's a really weird-looking alien behind Finn. I'm not sure exactly what that is. A lot of people are making fun. They're making a big deal out of the lightsaber looking sort of white. I I think that's just a sort of a dramatic choice. I don't think that's necessarily going to stay white. It's probably going to be blue. Uh, we've got Kylo Ren back in the mask, which is really cool. We've got apparently the Knights of Ren to the left of him. Uh, Again, that was one of the weird things that was left in the lurch in the Last Jedi. Nobody really knew what became of the Knights of Ren. I don't know. There was. I felt that the Force Awakens was a real missed opportunity. I think everybody you know, I don't want to say everybody, but I think everybody that had misgivings about the sequel trilogy was not impressed with The Force Awakens. But they really dropped the ball in The Last Jedi, and it feels really like they have so much to try to make up for lost time here. We got some red stormtroopers on the bottom there. I don't know if, let me see if I can move this down a little bit. Yeah. We got a couple alien characters. I'm going to read the copy in a minute. We'll get to that in a second and see if we can decipher who some of these characters are. And we have C3PO wearing Chewbacca's bandolier and carrying his crossbow. This is probably the most outrageous thing I think I've ever seen. The fact that that's put on a poster should betray that that's an important part of the movie. Now we still got Chewbacca in the poster, so it doesn't suggest that he's killed early or something. He's still in the movie prominently on the poster, but C-3PO carrying the bowcaster, it is a pretty unique visage. Die, Jedi dogs! And of course, we have the Millennium Falcon there. BB-8 is there. R2-D2. They have given him basically no respect. No respect for R2-D2. I don't think he's been on any of the posters, has he? Um, I don't know. They don't know what to do with R2-D2 for some reason. I don't know why. And of course, this poster is notable in the fact that it is missing both Billy D. Williams and Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker. Now, this is pretty strange. Again, I don't know exactly where this fits in because there's no logo on it. It doesn't say Episode 9. And they're not going to betray the name of the movie yet. So I think this is just something that was sort of put together for promotional purposes, but it's probably not meant to be released. Now, also, there was a list of characters that were shown that Lucasfilm immediately snatched those up. I couldn't even get the image because they're demanding all those sites take down that picture. I was lucky I got a picture of this from Reddit. But where apparently you see Billy D. Williams, and he's dressed basically like the Donald Glover version from Solo. Not the most inspired costuming. He's wearing like the same yellow shirt and the same black cape, which one would think. How many movies is he in? I mean, you're gonna make him wear the exact same costume. It's kind of nonsensical, particularly when you're considering that's like, I don't know, 50 years in between, right? Or maybe 40 years. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's see what does the casting or whatever the copy here say. All right, the poster almost certainly isn't going to be the official poster used to promote the movie in theaters. Duh. It seems to be legit rather than fake. The design matches up with most of what's been reported. Let's see. Let's see. The Knights of Ren are going to be a key part of the film, which is something that's been rumored for quite some time. One rumor has stated that they return from the beyond with word of a new threat, but even if that doesn't come to pass, their prominence here, which gives us our best look at their outfits too, matches up with them being a big part of things. At the bottom of the poster are the new designed Red Stormtroopers, which will be ruled by Kylo Ren and his knights. Kylo, meanwhile, has his helmet again. Yay! This time with some red detailing on it, while Rey's costume has echoes of the one she wore in The Force Awakens, with her hair designed to match that as well. So let me take a look at this picture again. Wait a second. Yeah, they really haven't gone out of their way to try to update Rey's attire. This is, it's kind of more white from what I understand, which kind of fits in with the whole Jedi motif, I suppose. Let's see, there are a number of new characters revealed here as well. Next to Poe is believed to be Carrie Russell's character who goes by the name of Zori. All right, let me see if I can, let me move this a little bit there. That's her over here in the purple jumpsuit. Let's see. It was recently said she has the coolest costume in the movie, and the purple and gold costume fits with that idea. Zori is believed to be a bounty hunter. Hmm. I don't know though. Do you take Kerry Russell and put her in a helmet and just leave her in a helmet the whole movie? They did that with Phasma, but I mean, Gwendolyn Christie really wasn't. I don't think they were going to get any marketing points on showing her face. All right, let's see. Next to her are BB-8 and a new droid character who was reported to be called Dio and will supposedly annoy BB-8. Eh, they're not even doing anything with C-3PO and R2-D2, and they're going to add another droid. I don't know. Above that character is a character called Jana, who will be played by Naomi Aki. She wields a crossbow. Now, this is the first time I think we've seen bows and arrows in Star Wars since the Ewoks. And the rumor has been that she's going to play Lando's daughter, although I probably wouldn't put a lot of stock in that. But she looks like she's from some primitive planet, not unlike Endor. I'm not sure. Let's see. On the opposite side is one of the new aliens in the movie. Like I said, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Looks like a background character from the prequels. I don't know. Also of note is the fact C-3PO is wielding Chewbacca's bowcaster, which apparently does happen in the movie, and a couple of new ships, namely a Y-Wing and Orange X-Wing. So, that's all the copy has to tell us. I don't know. What do you think? Is this legit? Does this make you excited for the movie? I don't know. I mean, quite honestly, it looks somewhat promising, but the thing about the poster is the poster and the trailer for the sequel trilogy films has always been spot on with what to expect from the movie. Now, they're not showing us anything about Luke Skywalker, so I'm going to guess he's not going to be a big part of the movie and that they're not going to bring him back to life. And, let's not get our hopes up that Luke Skywalker is going to return and save the day, because I'm sure they would have put him on the poster if he was, in fact, a big part of the movie. They also don't have Lando Calrissian on the poster, so chances are he's not going to have a big part as well. He's probably going to have about as big a part as maybe Princess Leia had in Force Awakens. But even then, she made the poster. So this, of course, is probably not going to be the official poster. So maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. But it doesn't really fill me with a lot of confidence that we don't have any actually any of the original trilogy cast in this poster. Besides Chewbacca and 3PO, we don't have Billy D. Williams, we don't have Mark Hamill, and we don't have Carrie Fisher, which, of course, even though she's passed on, is supposedly said to have a pivotal part in the film by using, stock footage that they shot that they never used. So one would think they would at least rate somewhere on the poster. Of course, they didn't get Mark Hamill in the Force Awakens poster for that reason alone, that he really had nothing more than a cameo. So I'm sadly resigned to the fact that he's probably only going to get cameo status in this film. Um, Again, I'm not sure exactly where that leaves Billy D. Williams and Carrie Fisher. But again, and R2-D2 as well, not having much to do with this. Again, the most interesting thing about the poster is probably C-3PO holding that bowcaster. I don't know what the heck they're planning with that makes such an important impression that they have to put it on the poster. But it'd be nice to see if they actually give 3PO something important to do in this movie finally. They owe it to him after the last movie, doing absolutely nothing with him. At least he had a couple of good lines in The Force Awakens. We still have the cross-guarded lightsaber that Kylo Ren is holding. Finally seeing the Knights of Ren do something would be cool. Particularly if they have lightsabers as well. That would be a lot of fun to see. And the new Red Guard here. the new red stormtroopers. We still have the white stormtroopers there in the background. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this something you're looking forward to? Does this instill you with any confidence? is this uh, is this something that is going to I don't know, reinvigorate the franchise, or is it going to go out with a gasp, with a whimper, and not with a bang? Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to say I have a wait and see attitude about this, but quite frankly, I don't feel a lot of confidence in this poster. Again, like I said, they're omitting a lot of key characters on the poster, and with it being a poster, you think it would be okay to just show, you know, Luke, Lando, Princess Leia. It's going to be interesting to see what the trailer is going to show, because J.J. Abrams is notorious for not wanting to show anything of import, but I don't know. I don't think he has much to offer at this point. A lot of people are also saying Rose Tico is not on the poster. There's been a lot of speculation because it's been very quiet on the Tico front. And they're sort of checking boxes. They have a black actress now on the poster. Does that mean that we don't need an Asian actress anymore to sort of tick the demographic boxes? I don't know. Or maybe she just doesn't have a very pivotal role. I don't know. I always felt bad for Rose Tico in a sense that they just didn't do anything with the character. That whole subplot between her and Finn was the biggest waste of time probably in any film, in any franchise in history. And that maybe if she would have been given an actually decent role, that character might have been endearing. But again, that's what happens when you put wokeness over actually creating a compelling character. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your hopes for episode 9, Plan 9, as some have called it? Do you think that there's actually more to the story than we're privy to? Or do you think this is sort of the same thing that we got with The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi? What you see is what you get with the poster. We're probably not going to get pivotal roles from Mark Hamill or Billy D. Williams. I don't know, kind of disappointing, kind of disappointing. Well, thank you once again for joining me here. A little bit shorter of a broadcast, again, a little bit under the weather, so thank you for bearing with me. And we'll see if we can get another broadcast done on our usual Saturday broadcast. But if not, well, we'll see what we can do as soon as possible. I'm looking forward to seeing Shazam. All the reviews are coming in for Shazam. Check out my review for Captain Marvel if you haven't already. Uh, eh, Sort of middling review from me for Captain Marvel, but I have high hopes for Shazam. It looks really good. And I think April's going to be a really big month. I'm really excited about that because not only do we have Shazam, which I'm eagerly looking forward to, but we have Avengers Endgame at the end of the month. And we have Cobra Kai Season 2 going to be underway, which I think I'm more excited about than anything, to be totally honest with you. I think I'm more excited about Cobra Kai Season 2 than anything else that's coming out this year, including Episode 9. What are you excited to see? Are you excited for Avengers Endgame or Shazam or Cobra Kai Season 2? What are you looking forward to most this upcoming April? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, share this video with all your friends. Be sure you check out the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye in the link in the description below for my website. You can check out a free 4-page preview right now for our current issue, which is issue number 5. And, of course, check out the link in the description below for our Twitter page, where you can find all the different fun things we do, poll of the week questions, reviews for, mini reviews for the DCCW shows, such as Supergirl, which I'm surprised, has actually gotten really good since John Cryer came on as Lex Luthor, and they're doing the Red Daughter storyline. If they could have just cut to the chase and got rid of all the crap with Agent Liberty and Dreamer and all that stuff. And they could have started this storyline, way back at the beginning. We would have actually had a real great season of entertainment from Supergirl. Instead, ratings are suffering. Arrow is actually doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way Arrow's turning out. They seem to be embracing his turn to a full-fledged hero and making sort of parting ways with the vigilante storyline. Flash is sort of middling, kind of middle of the road right now. It started off kind of promising. I don't know. They kind of jumped the rails. But we talk about all that on Twitter as well. And that's what this week in comic book television has become. We did that for a season or so, and then now it's just a written form. Also in April, we're also going to have the return of Cloak and Dagger, if that's something that strikes your fancy. I wasn't too crazy about it last season, but again, I'm going to give it a chance. We'll see where they take it. Hopefully, give them a chance to improve, hopefully, this upcoming season. So until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.